Hello, ladies. Welcome back to the Style Your Dreams podcast with Keri Blair. And I'm so excited. We have a special guest today. And it's kind of going to be a unique conversation that I'm super excited about. And I think it's going to be super magical. So I have Ali Levine with me. And if you've never heard of Ali Levine, she is known for being a world renowned intuitive stylist. That's right. She is a stylist and a sought after TV and media personality. And she's dressed some very famous people in Hollywood and public figures from around the world. So we have that in common. And she, in 2020, she started a personal inner journey and became a certified breathwork facilitator and soul expansion coach. And I love, in particular, that you've incorporated breathwork into styling. So I want to get into that a little bit. But in just a minute, I'll have you share about yourself, but I know my listeners are probably thinking, why does she have another stylist on? Right? Because I know you've had this experience. Our industry is so competitive. Like there's not enough room for everyone. And I completely disagree. I think there is enough abundance and enough everything for everyone. And so I'm excited to get to know you and talk to you a little bit about how you style and how you incorporate it and what had this transformation in your life. And just jump in. So, welcome. I'm so excited.
Thank you, Keri. I'm so excited to be here. And I love that you started with that because I agree with you. And can I be honest?
Yes.
Years ago, I bought into that lie. I bought into the
Mhm.
lie I couldn't share my contacts. I couldn't
Mhm.
work with other stylists. It was super cut and, dry. Even before I was a stylist, I was in the corporate design world. I was in the retail world. I did all those things. And in every single place, it was like, no, 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 don't share who you know. No,
I
no, no, no,
know.
don't work with so and so. And it was so exhausting, to be
Yeah.
honest. And so, just felt like wrong. But yet everyone around you is telling you. So you're kind of just like, all right, well, I'll just do that because they know, I guess. But then it's like, no, they don't actually. Quite the opposite. They're subscribed to the fear, they're subscribed to
Mhm.
the lack, and think that someone else is going to take from them. And I agree with you. It's like, no, there's so much abundance. I believe you call in your soul clients who you're meant to align with. You have those soul
Absolutely.
contacts, and they come to you because they feel your energy. And why wouldn't two stylists have an amazing, empowering conversation? Because your journey with styling is totally different than my journey with styling. And so I love you for that. So thank you for sharing. And so, yeah, hi,
Yeah.
everyone. I'm so excited to be here. So, my journey, gosh, it's such a long and deep one. But
Okay.
to break it down, I was a celebrity wardrobe stylist in Hollywood for many years, 15 plus years. And I just burned the F out, to be quite honest. I burned out and I burned hard. And
Yeah.
I think what we just spoke to was a huge piece of it, as well
Mhm.
as honestly just toxicity, toxic clients. Not saying everyone's toxic, but I allowed
Yep.
that. There was just a lot of that, and I just burned out. And I had become pregnant with my first daughter. I also went through a massive spiritual awakening, which
Mhm.
was just rocked my world in every way. I was on a crazy TV show back in 2017 with my husband called Stripped, that I think God put in front of me to like wake me up, because I was so in my own way and I was so on autopilot of just like, just do the ego of Ali, just do it, do it, do it. And it was like not serving me. I was not
Yeah.
thriving in any area of my life other than I checked the box for, best stylist. I checked the box for that Hollywood client. I checked the box. I hopped that plane. Sure, I guess I was doing the things, but I
Yep.
wasn't actually living in a life of joy, in presence, in just receiving. I was just in a
Mhm.
life of go, go, go. And so between all of that happening and then getting pregnant my first daughter, I just felt so called to stop and take a break. And to be honest, it's kind of funny, we're recording right now in January, the end of January, because I took a break. I want to say it was like around this time. It was a like award season time. And everybody was like, what are you doing? Like, what is wrong
Yeah.
with you? And I looked at them and I was like, if I don't stop now, I'm not gonna like know who I am in a day. Like, I said to my managers, my team, I was like, I have enough of a team, thank God, that I can pass this work off to and I can kind of oversee, but I have to step out. And I just remember,
Mhm.
Keri, so many people being like, you're out of your mind. Like,
You're
you're
crazy.
crazy. What are you doing?
Self-sabotage.
Exactly, all of it, but for
Yeah.
me, it was, like, the first time I was actually hearing my soul versus my
Mm,
ego, and it was like, "Oh, no, 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 we have to do this, regardless of what anybody thinks, like, this
yeah.
is what we're going to do," and I just remember that next morning, like, my agent was so mad at me, and everybody was cursing me out, and I was just like, "Okay, love you all, I have to go take a nap now, like, I'm pregnant, I'm spitting out, like, I need to just go do me, you know?" And it was not an easy decision, but my soul was truly calling me and telling me, and I had to like cut off the ego and say, no more. I've listened to you for too long. I got to go
Yeah.
with something else. And that was honestly where the Jeep journey began, because I like the next thing I know, I'm on the on my knees, to be quite honest and vulnerable, like crying on my bathroom floor, which I honestly don't do that very often. And I was just losing it. And I was like, what am I doing? What's happening? Am I making the right choice? And for me, God told me, like, yes, you are. And you need to
Yeah.
listen and you need to follow. And that's kind of where it all broke open.
Yeah. I love that. I love that story. I don't think, I mean, gosh, I want to go into the styling, but also there's so much richness there because I've had many of those awakenings in my lifetime. And and I just don't think enough people stop and realize how much we all let our egos just run the show. And we have like this opening from God saying, hey, step back. And
Mhm.
fear overwhelms people. And so they
Yeah.
won't step back. I mean, I know I have worked with tons of clients that's been our conversation is like
Yeah.
they're burned out. Their life's not going the way they want. And I'm like, leave,
Yep.
leave. Like,
Yep.
what is the worst thing that is going to happen to you? You're a brilliant, successful, amazing woman. Leave.
A
Like,
hundred
no, I
percent.
couldn't. So many people rely on me, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And this is it. Like, this is your
And what
one
about you,
and
right?
only.
It's like, and they rely on you, but like, if there's no
Yes.
you, there's no relying on you. So yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a true believer that, like, if you're not filled up first, you can't give anything to anyone. There
Right.
is nothing to give. Right. And
Yeah.
especially,
Motherhood taught
oh
me
my gosh.
that.
And then we could even go into the like what that's like being a mom because
Mhm.
I am like a huge advocate. Enough is enough with women not taking care of themselves, not feeling beautiful, not looking beautiful, not doing self-care every day.
Yeah.
I don't care how many kids you have. Like take a shower, brush your teeth, feel good
Yep.
about yourself and then you'll have more to give to your kids and you'll be more present to your kids
A
or
hundred
clients or
percent.
whoever you are.
Yes, 100%. I love that you said that, because I also, like, between postpartum depression and anxiety with my first daughter after having a very traumatic birth and all of that, like, I fell into that of like, oh, I can no longer show up and look and feel pretty. My body's changed. Like, I'm a different person. I don't like how I look. I actually was so mean to myself. I'd shame myself in the mirror. I'd tell myself horrible things, like horrible, horrible things.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
was just like, I was constantly depleting myself. And I agree with you. It's like, as I went on this journey and I learned how to truly love myself unconditionally, I would realize, like, if I don't pour into me, how am I going to show up for my husband? How am I going to show up for my kids? How am I
Right.
going to show up for my clients? How am I going to coach? How am I going to do all these things if I'm not pouring into me? And it's true. And so it's like when your soul feels empty and you feel
Mhm.
that, like you said, that shift and that calling where your ego is like, no, do this because I'm fearful and this is where I'm comfortable, versus your soul is like, I'm literally unfulfilled. Like, Keri, for me, it was so hard, honestly, for me to like look at when it was happening and look at like all the success I had, quote unquote, in Hollywood, but feel
Yeah.
so empty, like feel like a shell of a human. Like, how is it that I'm not fulfilled, but like literally have my name everywhere and have supposedly, quote unquote, the best job in the world, but like nothing is fulfilling me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. I do. And I find that so often. And that's why I think, let's go to styling for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Styling for me has never been about fashion, which
Hmm.
is very unique perspective because
For sure.
everyone who, and I've been doing this for 21 years.
Yeah.
and have had a firm and people work for me, and people are always like, "Ooh, let's talk fashion. I bet you love fashion and tell me your favorite designers and blah blah."
Yeah.
And
Tell
for
me your favorite
me,
trends. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Tell me your favorite trends and oh my gosh, this must be like the most amazing thing on the planet. Right? It's I call it the shiny object syndrome. Like our industry is
Oh,
the shiny object syndrome.
it
But for
is.
me, I used to lead personal development seminars before I even started this business for
Oh, I love it.
10 years. So I've been deep into personal development and spirituality for 30 years. And when I started this business, for me, it was about how can I make you feel amazing about yourself so that you have more to give to life? And so it was kind of, I have a different spin on it. It's kind of coaching slash making you feel beautiful. It's never been about the trends. It's never been
Yeah.
about, you know, wearing the right thing. It's about wearing the thing that makes you feel filled up and
Yes,
alive.
amen. I
Because if
love that.
you
We
can,
share that
yeah,
in common. We share that
yes,
because, like I've always said for years, confidence is your best accessory. And then, actually, as I
yes,
went through my spiritual journey, I added in, and authenticity is your superpower. Because I started
yes,
realizing that as I was dressing people and they were having confidence, then all of a sudden they were losing like a piece of themselves because they weren't staying authentic to them. They would get the confidence because they were so excited and built up, which was great. But then it was like, oh,
yes,
but wait, someone's telling me this, or someone says I should be wearing this. And they lose the authenticity. Oh, I just had energy with my throat. They lose, that authenticity of like who they truly are and like would
yes,
forget, like, oh, I'm supposed to be uniquely me. I'm supposed to show up this way because that color is what I gravitate toward. This is what lights me up, not because purple is no longer a trending color and I should wear,
right.
black because the red carpet's a sleek, sexy, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
funny, like when I used to, be on these red carpets and I'd be around, agents and managers, I used to butt heads with everybody because they'd be
yeah.
like, well, we have to talk about the trend. We got to work on the mood board and talk about what's happening, this week. And
Hmm.
I'd be like, that's great. She doesn't look good in that. She can't
Right,
pull off like quote unquote Kardashian. By the way, neither can I. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, let's talk
right.
about what actually makes her look amazing and what lights her up, right? And what she feels good
Yeah,
in. Then she's going to walk it and strut it and like actually show, like, I have confidence. I'm authentically me and I get to show up that way. So I love that you share that because I think there are a lot of
100%.
stylists out there who it's just about the trends. It's just
Yep.
about the designers and like, cool. That's cool. That's one method of way of doing things. But at the same time, I do agree with you. There's a much deeper layer, a much
Yeah.
deeper piece when it comes to your wardrobe. And this is what I get into when we talk about the intuitive styling is like I go through your closet and we get conscious about like what are you holding on to that no longer serves?
I
What
love it. I do the same thing.
what are you doing? Like, like what are the
Yeah.
stories and programs behind what you
Mhm.
have in your closet? What do we
Yeah.
need to purge and get rid of before we even start to begin to manifest the closet of your dreams and have you step into the career, the relationship, whatever it may be? And then let's talk
Yeah.
about the frequency of what we wear. Everything is
Yeah.
energy. So it's like, let's go even deeper. How does it feel on you? If you're
Yeah.
wearing it and you're like, oh, well, I like the idea of it, but it doesn't feel good on my body, you're not serving yourself. Like if that fabric doesn't
Right.
feel good on you or that color doesn't light you up, then there's no reason to wear it just because your sister said, oh, that color is
Uh,
so your color. Great. That color is so your color according to them. Let them wear it. You wear what
right.
feels good to you. Right. And so it's like, I
Amen.
agree with you. It's such a deeper layer to all of this. And once we start to
Yeah.
understand that it's not just fashion, but it's truly our, personal growth and
Yeah.
development, our
Yeah.
intuition, it's our energy, it's our frequency, it's all of it. And then
Yes.
we get to play in the field of fashion and have fun. Well, then you're walking into your dream wardrobe. Then you're literally playing dress up with yourself every day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so much I have to say about what you said. We are like the same person, only different.
I love it.
Because I have always believed the same thing. Like my job is to bring out who you are on the inside to the
Yeah.
outside for the world to see. And I make this joke. I love Marie Kondo,
Oh, so do I.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it goes way deeper than does it bring you joy?
Okay.
Like, no, it needs to do more than just
That's
bring you joy.
the bare
Like,
bones. The bare bones. Does it give me joy? Let's start there. And then let's go
like that's
way
the yes,
deeper.
that's like the okay. But
Totally.
now let's really dig in. And I am
Yes.
a true believer that when your inside matches your outside, the law of attraction starts happening and miracles occur in your life. And I'm
Agreed.
sure you will align with that,
Oh, absolutely,
right?
because everything is energy, right? And so it's like when we
Yep.
understand, I think we're coming into a space now where this is actually being talked about way more and more of the consciousness
Thank God.
is shifting. Thank God is right. The consciousness is shifting on the planet and we're really
Mhm.
seeing people start to like realize like, wow, the energy I'm in, the energy I'm around, what I'm wearing,
Yeah.
what I'm, listening to, all of it has, a piece to how this all plays
Yeah.
out in a role. And so, yes, I agree with you when you say, like, the
Mhm.
more you are glowing, the more you
Yeah.
have that energy, you have that high frequency, of course, you're going to attract miracles. You're going to attract soul clients. You're going to attract the good things in your life because nothing else can attach to you if that's the vibration. I mean, you want to go even deeper, like when we get into, breath work and all that, it's like your body holds everything. So if you're in a state of high vibration, you can't be in disalignment. Your body won't hold, a disease, God
Mm.
forbid, or an ailment or things of that nature because it's literally disconnection in the body. It's mind,
Yeah.
body, spirit. So it's like when we start to understand how all these components come together, that's why I bring breath work into every single session I do now because I'm like, before we even get into your closet, before you even tell me your stories, we're just going to breathe and ground and clear the space before we even get into what all this is. And then we're going to start to unpack and figure out what's going on, you know?
Yeah. So tell me about that. I'm fat. So
Right.
I love breath work. I've done breath work.
Love it.
I I'm but my modality is I'm a Reiki master and
Cool.
love Reiki, but
Reiki's great.
I don't use it on my clients. So talk to
Sure.
me about breath work in the closet and with your clients. I'm
Okay, I love that. And I
fascinated.
know that you do Reiki. That's so fun. So, yeah. So for me, I never plan on bringing breath work into styling. Actually, to be quite honest, the ego of me when everything ended with the styling and I was so broken, I was just like, I'm done styling forever. I'll never do this again. I walked away. I burned my business down. I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. We moved. God told me to move out of California. We moved. We now live in Tennessee, right
Wow.
outside of Nashville. I mean, it was like a big, it was a big overhaul that I never would have
Huge.
planned in my life, but I do believe God's plans are greater and I followed
Yep.
my soul calling. And so, then once I kind of landed here
Mm.
and I guess I got certified in breath work and started doing all my different, certifications and learning and modalities, I started having all these clients reaching out to me that were looking for styling. And I was like, I don't do that anymore. And they're like, I would get on calls with them and they're like, I'm so anxious in my wardrobe. I'm so stressed out. I don't know how to get into this. I don't feel confident. And it clicked. Like God was like, ding, ding, ding. It was like a ping, It was like,
Yes, God is
oh,
great.
so great. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
oh, this has to come into what I've been doing. Like, Ali, you thought you were just going to become a breathwork facilitator and just go off
Right?
and do that. No, 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 no. What were you thinking? Like, I already
Oh,
had the plans to figure this out for you. And so that's what's been really cool, honestly, Keri, is like, it was not my idea by any means. God decided it for me and gave it to me, and
yeah.
thank you. And I just started helping people breathe in their closets
Yeah.
and saying, let's just let go of the stress of what
Yep.
you're afraid to put that dress on, or let's let
Mhm.
go of the limiting beliefs of why you couldn't show up on this show and wear that. Let's just start with your breath. Let's just get grounded. And
Yeah.
the more I started doing that with them, the more I started noticing breakthroughs of like, okay, let's try that on. Okay, yeah, I'll show you that outfit. And it was like this shift
Mhm.
that just started happening more and more. And then it was like, we do it again. And it was like this like quantum leap of like, ooh, now I'm open to try this outfit that you thought I should try that I wasn't going to try. You know what I mean? It just kept creating
Yes.
more and more expansion. And when I saw this with quite a few clients, I was like, okay, wait, I'm onto something here. And then I started
Yes.
really playing around with like their colors and the frequency of their closets. And I started really diving into the energy behind it. Cause to be honest,
Yes.
I was scared. I was fearful. I was like, are they going to think
Yeah.
I'm too woo? Are they going to be like, what
Yeah.
is she doing? You know what I mean? And so at
Yeah.
first I didn't do it. But then when I just kept feeling the call, I was like, okay, no, we're gonna play around with this. And the more I did, the more my clients had successful stories and had incredible
Of course.
feedback and had all these amazing things happening. And I was like, oh, okay, this works. And so I just kept playing around. And then like my signature method was, created from that of like okay, it's visualization, it's frequency, it's
Mhm.
energy, it's breath work, and this is how we manifest the wardrobe of your dreams. This is how we manifest what you're wanting to step into. And again, going back to the confidence is your best accessory, and then truly embodying the authenticity of you by doing all
Yeah.
this. So I never planned on being here.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And yes, I think God has way better plans for us than we could ever imagine.
Always.
And I love that you were willing to burn it all down. Like that's
Oh,
the biggest gift that I could say from your story is, oh, how often, I mean, I deal with this for myself, right? I've had coaches that say like, imagine, so we have a studio in this very posh area of Denver where we style our clients, and I have other stylists work for me, and I have from time to time I question things. I get
sure.
burned out, and I've had coaches that go, "Well, what if you didn't have any of it? Like what if you burned it all to the ground?" And that's a very confronting thought.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
wait. I just spent 21 years of my life building this. What if
Yeah.
this weren't here? But then once you can like really dive into it and consider it,
Yeah.
there's so much freedom,
And there's also so much reflection of like what's happening, right? Of like you're able to tune in and be like, okay, well, what if I did do that? Like, what would that look
right?
like, right? And then it's like there is freedom, there is, openness.
So
There,
much.
when you get past the fear, right? Like, and I think for me, God really brought me to a place of just true blown surrender. Like, I didn't have a choice. It was like
Mm,
burn it down or completely
mhm.
lose who I was. Like, no longer, honestly, like probably be here
Yeah,
physically, honestly, because I was struggling so deeply. And it was like, you're
yeah,
going to choose your health or you're going to choose the ego. Like, what's it going to be here? Because you don't get to choose both. And as hard as
yeah,
that time was in my life and like how dark it was for so long, it was a blessing
yeah,
because it really
yeah.
gave me the freedom to walk away from everything and say, I choose me. I choose me over every
Mm,
single client. I choose me over this glam in front of me and everything that's being pushed in
mm.
front of me. I mean, when I was burning it down, I still had clients calling. I still had opportunities,
Yeah,
knocking at my door, come do this, come fly here. And I was like, the ego of me was like, what are you doing? Like, you have all this
I
stuff here in
totally.
front of you. Like, what are you doing? But my soul was like, no, 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 no. Like,
Right.
you have to let it all go. And anyone listening, it's like, yeah, there's definitely, of course, a fear because we all
Yeah.
have that within us. But this is where
Mhm.
breathwork truly changed my life because I've learned how to move through those emotions. I've learned how to ground my body and clear out those lower vibrations and let myself experience them, but not live in them. And be able to
Yeah.
see, like, that is not who you are meant to be. If you believe you're a child of God, which I know we both do, then you are
Mhm.
massively abundant. You are meant to live in joy. You are meant to
Yeah,
thrive. It doesn't mean you don't experience, obviously, the density on earth. We all do, but it doesn't mean you're meant to live there. And so,
yeah.
if this is causing you that much strife and pain, if that is causing you this much intensity in your life, well, then God's got something better for you. But you can't open that door. You can't walk into that next great thing until you allow yourself to burn it all down and let it go.
But it's also the same thing with regards to your closet. Like, how many
Oh,
times has a client talked to you and they're like, "Well, can't you just go buy me new stuff?" And you're
yeah.
like, "No, I cannot start there. Like, we have to burn it all down in your
Yeah.
closet, so to
Literally.
speak,
Yeah.
because
We have to clear it all
otherwise,
out, go through
right?
everything and say,
Because if we
hold it.
don't, then you're
Yeah.
just creating on top of crap,
A
right? And
hundred
if you
percent.
and that's what people don't understand. They're like, "I just need a few good outfits." No, you don't. Like,
Yeah.
that is not what you need. You
It's
need a
actually
total
the opposite of what you
transformation,
need. Yeah. Well, it's like what you were saying
right?
in the beginning of your show, the kind of the shiny object syndrome, right? It's like
Yes,
I just need those few things and then I'll move forward and it'll all be well. And it's like, no, no, no. What you need is actual change and you need actual
right?
integration of what is happening. And
Yes,
then we can burn it all down. We can clear it all out. And then
right.
we can actually move into a brand new you and step into the
Yeah.
actual authenticity of you. 100%.
Yeah, because anything other than that is just a Band-Aid. Like, "Oh, yeah,
Correct.
great. You'll have a nice outfit to wear to an
Yeah.
interview, but it's not who
Yeah.
you are, and you won't transform yourself." So,
Mm.
I've always been an advocate of, like, I don't wanna go through your closet just to go through your closet because to be honest, that's the most deep emotional time
Yes.
on me,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Like people don't
So
get like
deep.
how
It's shadow work. It's
stressful that is
exhausting.
on us,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like that's probably the hardest part of our jobs because we're
Mhm.
taking on all of your emotions and all of your baggage and
Yep.
then trying to help you through it, right?
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
so I love that is that um but it takes courage.
It does. It does take courage,
It takes so much courage
and it takes faith, right? Like it's like you get to
and it
this
takes a lot of
place.
faith.
It gets to this
Mhm.
place where it's like it's no longer working, whether it be your wardrobe,
Yeah.
it be your life, it be, your
Yeah.
business, whatever it is. And it's like, okay, what do I need to do here? Well, the first thing I need to do is have courage, like you said. I have to have strength
Yeah.
into what I'm going to move into and trust. And then you have to have faith
Yep.
because if you don't have faith, then you don't know where to go. You literally are just
Right.
lost. Like, what is like a
Where
fish
do I
out of
go?
water. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, what's happening? I don't know what to do. So if you
Yep.
don't have that faith, then you can't move forward. And that's for me too on the spirituality note, between meditation and breath work and my journey, of going through the postpartum depression and anxiety, it brought me back to God.
Yeah.
And I really
Yeah.
believe on a much bigger, purpose and, blessing.
Mhm.
That was what I needed because I lost God in Hollywood, to be quite honest. And I just got
I
so
believe
wrapped
that.
up in the clients and the toxicity and everything I was around and, drinking and all the things without getting into everything. And it was just, I lost myself and I lost God, and I think that when I went through everything I went through and I was in such a dark place, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, what now? What? How do I get out of here? Nothing is working. Everything I'm trying to do to get out of the darkness is not working. And it was like surrendering to God and letting God step in and say, I'm going to help you through, but you're going to have to literally burn it all down, surrender your
Yeah.
ego, and give everything to me and have faith, which was so hard to do. But like looking back now, I'm so
Yeah.
grateful because I'm like, wow, I don't recognize myself. But at the same time, like I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah. It's always fascinating to me that the parts of your job that are like the worst is the parts that people admire the most.
Yeah. It's like a reflection essentially, right? It's like what you're kind of like hating the most, but like it's probably actually allowing you to do the most work on
Yeah.
yourself and in your personal journey and all of that is like that reflection of like, well, they're seeing it and it's like, oh wow, that's inspiring to me. That's like deep work. Like I'm
Right.
watching her do it. You know what I mean? It's like we're mirrors of each
Yeah.
other, right? And so it's like
Yeah.
them seeing you and are like, oh gosh, like I wish I could be doing that. And you're like, no, you don't. It's so intense. Like it's the
Right.
hardest part. I don't want to be doing this, right? It is. It's such a
Yeah.
reflection of that. So yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm interviewing this woman who's an assistant costume designer in LA who wants to come work for me and
Okay.
move to Denver. And she's exactly where you were. Like
Mhm.
exactly. Like, oh, I just hearing you talk, I was like, I feel what she's dealing with and like how
Oh,
bad she wants to get out because
mhm.
it is toxic.
It can be a
It
very
can
honestly,
be.
I had this
I won't
conversation.
just say it is. I'll say it can
Totally.
be.
It can be 100%. And
Yeah.
I had this conversation with someone who messaged me the other day because one of my reels I posted, and they were like, "Thank you for speaking about it," because I also left and I felt the same way, and I felt like it can be such a low vibration. And I'm like, it really can be, especially when you get in with that toxicity of certain clients and
Mhm.
circles
Yeah.
and all of it. It can be super toxic, and there's
Yeah.
this shiny ball syndrome when it comes to like the Hollywood feel and your name and the glamour and all the things. But it's like, but at what cost? And also too, I mean,
Totally.
I think it's also like no surprise, sadly, that we're seeing more and more people in Hollywood dying and choosing to
Mm,
leave, and and it's like I don't want that for anyone, but they're
me
choosing for
neither.
a reason. They've been in suffering for so long, and we're finally hearing these stories about like what happened in their lives, and it's like you're literally fighting off, I believe, demons, in
Demons.
from being
That's what I was
around
gonna
all of
say.
it. Yeah, you are. And
Yes,
I think for
demons.
me too, Keri, like I didn't even realize that until like God started
Yeah.
really profoundly speaking to me, when I was going through everything I was going through, like the postpartum depression and anxiety. God kept telling me, like, you have to keep speaking life. You have to keep saying like that, you already see clearly. You don't have anxiety, like, and then the breathing really helped me to like get out of the noise because for me, my mind was a prison. My mind was just
Yeah.
this never ending, swirling dark place of no matter what I did, I would hear negative thoughts all the time. Even if I would pray and I talked to God, it was like
Yeah.
just gonna keep feeding you all the things that you do, think are believing about yourself that you think are true. And for me, breath work shut off the noise for the first time, probably in my
Mm,
life. It was like everything went quiet and I could just
yes.
hear God and connect with my soul. And it was like,
Yes.
whoa, I get emotional about it because it was like so like just this is within me. This is this, that's why I got certified
Oh.
in it because when I saw the transformation in my life, I was like, well, this is why you got
Mhm,
involved in styling, right? Like you didn't get involved because of the ego. You didn't get involved because you want to get in Hollywood. That
mhm.
came later in life. Like you got
Yeah.
involved for the same reason you got involved is to transform people's lives. And so when
Yep.
I saw what breathwork did for my life, I was like, I have to get certified in this. Like I have to do this so I can teach other people how to do this because nobody needs to be in survival mode. Like nobody needs to be stuck. And especially if you're
Mm,
someone who knows you're being attacked and knows, you have things bigger than
yep.
you have to have tools to be able to move through them and get out of it and to thrive. And so
I
that's
love
why
it.
I think, that became so powerful in my journey.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I wanna share with you the first time I did breath work.
Please do.
So, I have a second home in Sedona,
Okay.
and,
I love Sedona.
so I've been going
I
there
went
for,
to
like,
college, by the way, right by Sedona, not to interrupt you. I went to college at Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. So I was
oh,
in Sedona, like
love it
literally with my best friend
all the
every other
time.
weekend. Yeah.
I right? I love it so much. I went to high school in, Phoenix, so we would drive up during high school and after high school. Anyways, so my husband and I have been going there every year for 20 years. And every year that I would go, I would do some different modality or what have
Yeah.
you. And
I love it.
fast forward, I'm so grateful we have a place there now. But I remember seeking out breath work for the first time ever. This was
Mhm.
many years ago. I don't know, like 8, 10 years ago. It was a
Yeah,
while
yeah.
ago. And I found this woman who's unbelievable. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know
Sure.
anyone who had done it. Like, I didn't do research. I was like, no, I think I had one friend who's like, "Hey, breathwork's cool." I'm like, "Okay." So I went to this woman. I went over to her house and we did this breathwork session, which was the strangest thing I ever experienced because it was like an hour and a half long and drums beating and,
Yeah, yeah.
the whole thing, right?
Oh, the whole thing for sure. She went
And
all in. Yeah.
oh, all in, like I'm rolling on the floor and like deep
Yeah.
breathing. And I will tell you, I have never experienced love for myself like I did after that session. Like
I love
I
that.
so completely fell in love with myself and fell in and was like 1,000,000% clear that I am
Mhm.
everything and God is within me. And it was so transformational that I so love and respect what you do.
Oh, I just got
Um,
tingles all over.
I mean, it really is that powerful of an experience.
It is.
You can't deny it, right?
It is 100%. And I love that you said that, like you had like no shadow of a doubt that like God was within you, because that's what it was for me
Mhm.
too. It was like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, this is literally our sacred life force. Like it's not just there just to breathe. Like it's literally there to
right,
connect to our
right.
soul and to like have that self-love. And I love that you had that realization because it was like, oh my, I'm gonna have to, by the way, for you having me on your show, I'm doing my I do like full moon breathwork circles like every
Oh,
month, and I'm gonna have you come as a gift for this week for my workshop, so you can come
aw,
experience my work because
that's
you have
great.
to.
I would love
Yeah,
to. That's so
yeah.
great. But it is transformational. So, which brings me to my next question. So, you had your journey. First of all, how long was your dark night of the soul? How long did this
My dark night is so I feel like there were quite a few, to be honest. I feel like when you go through like your journey, there's like a lot, right? So God bless you. So I feel like so the beginning for me, I think, was actually right after I filmed Stripped on Bravo, because that was like such a ego blow because of the nature of the show of having like everything taken away from you, and like everything was just all about basically stripping you everything that made, your ego shine. So I didn't realize it at the time, but that I think was like the start
Wow.
of the journey of the shadow work, because things just got like crazy from there. And then, the burnout came and with the career, and
Mm.
then that kind of really kicked things into gear, and then getting pregnant. So I would say, honestly, probably like 2016, 2017, up until probably honestly like 2020.
Yeah.
Because I went in and out, because like I was in a better place. In
Hmm.
2018, my daughter turned 1, and I finally felt like,
Mm.
oh, I'm finding me again, and I'm a new version
Yeah.
of me, and I'm reinventing me. But then 2020 came, like all of us, and rocked my world. And I was pregnant with my second
Yeah.
daughter. And everything that I had done to help myself get to where I was no longer working. And I was
Yeah.
truly spinning out in my mind, because my mind was back on, swirling thoughts. And I was like, wait a second, I came this far. How am I like losing it right now? And
Yeah.
breath work then for me became like a non-negotiable. Like it went from a place of where I was doing it here and there to like, this is an
Yeah.
everyday committing to my practice. And then things started to clear, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's when I got heavily certified and went through a bunch of different, trainings, and then even
Mm.
deeper in 2022, because I wanted to make sure I was trauma informed. I had, advanced facilitation, all the different
Yeah.
things to be able to hold space and keep people safe, and all the things that, tie into trauma and everything. And to be honest with you, Keri, it wasn't until when I had my second daughter in 2020, we were living in California at the time. And obviously, anyone that knows California knows it was probably a more fearful state than other states. And I say
Yeah.
that because there was so much anxiety going on. There were so many limiting beliefs. I wanted to have a vaginal birth after a C-section, which is known as a
Yeah.
VBAC for those that don't
Yeah.
know. Because I had a C-section, my first daughter, after a 42-hour traumatic birth. And I wanted to have a VBAC with my second daughter. And long story short, basically, she got stuck at the very end when everything was
Mm.
happening and things were chaos at the hospital. And there was a point in me where I felt like I was just going to get stuck in the same place, and I was about to just kind of lose it. And I looked at my husband, and I was so grateful I had the awareness, and I feel God was with me. And I said, I need you to give me like my, headphones to listen, so I can listen to my fear releasing playlist that I've been listening to. And I turned
Yeah.
it on, and I started doing the deep breathing. And within a
Mm.
few minutes, I started like really feeling my body relax and starting to center again. And thank God my doctor was cool enough that he was like, I'll walk out of the room, I'll come back. And he came back, and he's like, okay, you got a fever now. I got it. Like, we got to make things happen, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay in this zone. And, anyways, I couldn't even to this day explain to you what happened in this time. Well, I know what happened, but for many are like, what? It sounds so woo. But because of, like, from experiencing breath work, because of the deep breathing and the shifting in my consciousness, I truly felt myself leave my body while I was
Yeah.
there. And I could hear him
Mm.
saying, like, push, and telling me it was time, and he had the vacuum and he was going to help. But I was so in this other realm with God and heavenly realm. I was
Yeah.
seeing pink and purple and swirls. It was so beautiful. And at the same time, I hear him saying, push. And I just remember, like, okay, it's time to push. Like, you can do this. And I just pushed. And next thing I knew, I'm literally back in my body. My baby is on my chest, all 9 pounds and
Mm.
3 ounces of her. And I had my flipping V back. And it was like,
Yeah.
what just happened? And
I
that was
love
the
that.
moment that I really believe I like transformed fully from like that dark night of the soul and all the searching to like
Yeah.
God took me to another level. And it was like, oh, you've arrived.
Yeah. I love it so much because it's also, I'm big into being consciously aware.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a practice that often throughout my day, I say, am I aware?
I love that.
Am I aware? Because it makes you be aware in that
Yeah,
moment because we're just the
absolutely.
observer, right? I am the
Right.
awareness of life. I'm not this person who's talking,
Right.
right? And so I think that's so powerful. And for everyone listening, like it doesn't matter if it's breath work, if it's meditation, if
Yep.
it's Reiki, if it's because I've done
Energy
a
work.
lot of
Mhm.
everything.
Yep. Hmm.
Right. I've done a lot of everything. And what matters is the awareness, is getting
Yeah.
back to the awareness. And whether you believe in God or whether you believe in the universe or whatever you believe in, it is being connected to the source. And
Yes, it
when you're
is. And
connected to the
being
source,
plugged in, like
anything,
you said. Yes,
yeah,
being plugged
and
in.
anything
And I
can
think it's
happen.
clear anything can happen. There is a higher
Mhm.
power. You expect
Yeah.
miracles. You be in that gratitude. You have that, like you said, that
Yes.
energy, that attraction. And I agree with you.
Yes.
It's like when you have that awareness, and I think breathwork even that too, was like not just the awareness, but you become the observer of your life. You
Mhm.
become conscious. You start to notice
Yeah.
everything you do. Now that holds you to a whole new responsibility as well. But
Yes.
there's so much magic and there's so
And
much
bliss.
power within that
Yes.
because you start to really see who you are as a soul and you start to make changes in your life, little changes to big changes that are like, oh my gosh, now my whole world is different in the best way
Yes.
possible. And that's what I would tell
I
anyone. It's
love
like,
it.
but again, you stay stuck because of the state of the fear. You stay stuck because it's
Yeah.
comfortable. I
Yeah.
could have easily in that moment given up and just said, well, that's what happened before. So that's the story
Right.
and it's going to happen
Right.
again. No, I took my
Right.
power back. I went from the victim to the
Mhm.
victor. Thank you, God. And I had my daughter as a VBAC. And then my son, I had him in 2022 and I had him as a home birth.
Oh, I love it. Ali, I just want to say, oh my gosh, I hate that when you're like so in the
Just
moment
kind
and you
of
want to
throw
say
it.
something and then you're like,
Did
where
it
did
have to
that
do with
go?
breath work or did it have to do with the birth of what happened? I do that all the
Oh,
time,
I
by the
know what it
way.
was.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Yep. I love it.
Um, here's what I love about your story and what a gift it is to your children because so like I said, I've been doing a lot of spiritual work for 30 years and I have an 11-year-old girl who's
Yeah, I
in
saw
middle
you were a
school
mom. I love it.
and oh my gosh, the gift I feel grateful every single moment that I'm with her because I am a present mom, I am a
Mm.
conscious mom, I'm an aware mom. We don't do things that normal people do.
I feel
Like,
you.
last week, we watched The Secret together
I love it.
and we talk about the law of attraction and like, "Oh, friendships aren't going the way you want? Great. Let's focus on that. Let's
Yep.
talk about what you
Mhm,
do want instead of what
mhm.
you don't want." And so
Oh,
I
she's so
love
lucky. What a gift.
well, that's what I'm saying about your kids. Like, what an unbelievable opportunity they now have that you're their mom and that you're aware because there's nothing that you can't help them through with that
Yeah.
awareness that it's not just about telling them what to do and keeping them alive. It's about having them be connected to God and to spirit
Yeah.
and the to the life that they were meant to live rather than going on automatic pilot, which is what I see day in and day out,
Oh, so do I. Yeah, absolutely. And I love that with your
right?
daughter.
So
I look forward to that when mine are older and I
mm,
can, watch those things and have those connections. And I love that. I mean, like we'll
yeah.
be out somewhere and my girls will be like angel numbers. And I'm like, yes, do you see the signs? And like we
Yes.
notice everything together and we
Yes.
breathe together and we do yoga and we
Yes.
meditate and we talk about all
Mm,
that. And exactly,
yes.
it's like you give them that faith, you give them that awareness, and I love that you're doing that because I think more moms who are becoming conscious, it's a shifting, right? It's like you show up as a different
Mhm.
mom and there's no
Yeah.
judgment around moms who aren't in the space yet because I was
Nope.
there and with my first daughter I was a unconscious mom. Like I look at where I was with her and where I am now with my son, I'm like, wow, night and
Yeah.
day. And I can love
Yeah.
myself through that, but now I can also make those changes for my daughter who's almost 6 to see this more
Oh,
conscious mom, to receive the awareness, to be able to start
yeah.
to make those changes, right? And so it's like when we become more conscious and we become aware and also really, like you said, love ourselves so deeply, they
Yeah.
can't help but feel so loved, and that is the best gift that you can give them as a mother and as a parent.
Oh, oh my gosh, beyond measure, right? And being the demonstration of being the
Yes,
awareness and
embody
the
it.
conscious.
Yes, embody it and show them like this is how we move through. And you know what I love about my almost 6-year-old Amelia? She calls me out, man. Like she's so conscious because I've taught her
Mine
so much
too.
in the last few years. Yep.
Yes.
And the ego of me does not like it. But the conscious soul is like, oh, I celebrate you. Like the fact that you're like, I'm having a little bit of adult tantrum right now. And you're like, Mom, you just need to breathe. Mom, let's do breath work. And I'm like,
Yes.
you're right. Let's sit down and breathe. You're right. Why am I flipping out right now? Like you're 100%. And then we do. And she's like, don't you feel so much better? And I'm like, yes, duh. Like,
See, that's the best gift that our kids give us. I'm listening to the founder of The Secret has another book, and I'm listening to it on Audibles right now. In fact, I just finished it. It's called The Greatest Secret, and it's
Okay.
unbelievable. And one of the practices she has, which has made a difference in my life, is like when you have any feeling or emotion, you open your arms, like hug it and let it flow through you, right? Because when
Yep.
we struggle in life is when we trap emotions. So
Yes.
I've been taking on this practice of like, if I get upset or I get angry, it's already inside of me. It needs to come out.
Yeah,
So rather
absolutely.
than resist it and
Yep.
tell
Because
it,
what we
no, I
resist
don't know.
persists. Yep.
I should be a better person and be
Mhm.
happy right now. But then it traps it. So I've been
Yes.
taking on this practice and I love it that your kids do it too. My daughter will be like, if she noticed I got frustrated about something, she'll be like, let it in, mommy. Let it go through you. Like just embrace that
Love it.
emotion. And I'm like, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you
Thank you for
so
the
much
reminder. Yes. Yes.
because I need that. Like, yes, thank you because I'm a human being and I need to be
Right.
brought back to my
You're
source,
human. That's
right?
so good.
And
I tell everyone, they're like, "Oh, you got it all together." And I'm like, "Yeah, just because I'm a breathwork facilitator and coach and I teach this doesn't mean I don't have my own moments where I don't flip out, I don't
no,
spin. I have to remember my
totally.
tools. Like I'm human. Like I'm gonna make
Right.
mistakes, obviously. Like I don't
We're
just get.
women with
I
hormones.
wish that I was just so enlightened that I could just breathe through and be conscious 24/7. But that's just not the way it is. So
Yeah.
exactly, it's like when you use these tools, and I think that's a really good call out into the your conversation right now too, is like finding those tools that resonate for you and making them practices, making
Yes.
them rituals. Like how important that is will set you on a completely different trajectory and journey than you are right now. And it can just start with just you literally saying the right affirmations, journaling what you
Yes.
need to, praying, speaking out what you need to, using your breath. Like there's so many different modalities that let you do this right
Right.
now. You don't have to make it complicated. And I think that was a big piece to my journey too, is I made everything complicated until I realized like, oh, this can actually be really simple. And I don't have to do
Yeah.
it all every day. I can do one thing this day. And then the next day, maybe I need all 5 things because it's that kind of day. So we're diving into all the tools in the toolbox, right?
Oh
But
my
it's like,
gosh. Yes.
right? But it's
I sit down
with the
every
lands
morning.
for you. You find like
Yes.
what works for you. Yeah.
Mhm. I totally agree. Every morning I have my like meditation time for a half an
Yep.
hour before my family's awake. And some mornings I sit in my meditation room and I'm like, okay, what do I need today? Do I need to tap? Do I
Yeah.
need to do breath work? Do I need to do Reiki? Or do I need to just meditate and listen to God? And
Right.
every
Totally.
morning it's different. But I
Hmm.
love having all of these different tools in my toolbox to go, okay, I meditated, that didn't work today, couldn't shut off my
Right.
mind, it's time
Yep.
to do some tapping, or maybe
Totally.
I come back and my mid-afternoon is like, "Okay, shut off the mind, do this." So I
A
love
lot of
it.
times when it's the afternoon after I've already done it in the morning, it's like, okay, the afternoon is spinning, things are getting crazy. Like,
Yes,
what are we gonna do for me to hold space right now? Okay, I'm gonna walk away for like 2 minutes and do some deep breathing and like say a
yes,
prayer and release. And I love that too. You said that like you let yourself embrace it. I tell all my clients, I'm like, first we have the awareness. Once you have the awareness, we feel it, then we heal it, and then
yes,
we shift it. We don't just
yes,
expect it to just, okay, now we're happy, everything's good. No, no, no. We allow, we have the
yeah,
awareness, we feel it deeply, allow ourselves to feel it because our emotions are only energy and motion. That's all they are. So we let the
yep,
energy move. And we know that our emotions now are only meant to last 90 seconds. For anybody who doesn't know that, it's
mm,
90 seconds. So if you could just
yep,
allow that full 90 seconds to feel it, but then actually heal it
mm,
and move through it, you shift immediately and you're like, oh wow, it didn't have to be so. And we all live in our emotions, we live in these limiting beliefs and these deep fears and stress and everything, and there's no judgment because I lived there for so long. But I'm telling you, as
yeah,
someone who no longer lives there, thank you God, I am so grateful for my tools and for
mm,
the knowing, like you said, of being conscious and being aware that, like, when we become the observer of our life, when we become a place of, like, oh, I can overall see 85% of what's happening or 90% of what's happening in my life, and then choose when to respond and choose how to react versus consistently being triggered and consistently being in this fight or flight system, life gets a lot
Yeah,
easier. And then you bring in, like what you said, the law of attraction, and then you can't help but bring in miracles and amazing conversations like us. Like our connection was so divine online.
totally.
It was like, wait a second,
So
I like
divine.
what you're sharing. I like what you're sharing. Like it's so
Right.
cool.
Yeah. I love everything that you're saying. Okay, now how does so we talked about your styling and your breath work. It seems like, I hope it's okay that I just ask you this
Sure.
question. It seems like your passion is breath work.
Absolutely.
So,
It is. Yeah.
so, so why are you still doing styling? Why don't
I
you
know.
just go all in
Ask
on
God.
breath
I don't
work?
know. Honestly,
Because
ask
God
God.
told you you're supposed to be
Every
doing both?
time, every time I have tried to drop completely out of styling and just be like, I'm not going to do
Mhm.
it. Another client comes in, or a client I was working with
Got it.
before, and they have more, I need help with this. And then it ends up being a deeper journey. It's almost like, it's funny for me. It's almost like these soul clients disguise like the ego is like, oh, I need help with wardrobe. But really,
Yes.
there's so much deeper programming and patterns where they
Yes.
actually need the breath work. And I can't go to them and say you need breath work. So we start with the ego and
Oh
the
my gosh.
mask of what it is, and then we actually peel back the layers of the onion or the outfit, and it's like, let's actually breathe, and then we'll come into the manifestation of your dreams and your wardrobe. So yeah, it's
Oh my
all
gosh,
God's
I love
plan.
that, love that, love that. Because that is my experience too, is like sometimes people aren't like lots of people have told me over the years that I'm a bridge. Like I bridge
Mhm.
people from the normal world
Yeah,
into
totally.
the
Yeah,
spiritual world or
yeah, I
like
love that.
those
Yeah,
modalities.
I've been told I'm an
You're
awakener,
the
so it's
same.
like the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
you're the same. So it is interesting that people come. That's fascinating that my light just turned off. Um,
And yeah, there you
from an
go. Angel, spirit,
energetic,
right? Yep.
like, yeah, there are no coincidences in life. The
Never.
light just turned on. But I love that that is what it is for me too, is that if people, it's all connected.
It
And I'm
is.
sure you believe this too, but like feeling amazing about who you are and how you look every day is imperative.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
And and with that you can also do the inner journey because it leads
Yes,
to
it's
the
a
inner
journey.
journey.
Absolutely. And I think and I love that you sharing that, because I think in my journey, I'm not going to lie, there was a point in my life where I burned all the glam away. I had become so obsessed with doing the Botox and the fillers, with doing the eyelashes nonstop, with all the things on the
Yeah.
outside, that I
Mhm.
lost how to find just Ali and love Ali. I love the image of Ali instead of loving who Ali was. And so when all that happened, I burned it all down. I let all that go. And to be
Yeah.
honest, like in the last probably year or two, I started now finally starting to find a harmony. I don't like the word balance, a harmony in this like ebb and flow of like, okay, we're feeling super cute today. We're going to get all dressed up and put it together. Okay, tomorrow we're feeling more cozy. We're going to put on our favorite, sweatsuit outfit that's still super cute, but like is
Yeah.
super comfy and cozy. And we're going to thrive in that today. And I found that harmony of like allowing myself to go from like total hot mess mom, but still feeling good, to like total glam, and no longer getting stuck in the like, oh, I can't look like this or I can't show up like that. And I'm loving all parts and pieces of me.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Okay, well, I could talk to you for hours because
I
you
would
are
say,
clearly my
Carrie, I'll
new
have to have you on my
I'm like, you are
podcast
clearly my
with
new
Ali.
BFF. I
Yes,
mean, it's not very often that you meet someone that you have so much in common with and you can
totally.
relate on so many different
Every
levels.
level. Yes.
And I just adore you and I'm so
Oh, I feel
grateful.
the same, Liam. I'm so honored to get to share my story and be here. And I'm so glad for the divine connection. You'll have to come on my podcast, Awakening with Ali, because it's all about the
I would
spirituality.
love it.
I'd love for you to
I would
share.
love it.
Yes. And
Yeah,
thank you
but
for
I want to
joining
be
me.
connected to you for a very long time. And I
Oh,
just
yes. I
I
feel
I
you.
love that we're soul sisters and I love the work that you're doing to help people at such a deep level because as it is for both of us, beauty is about more than how you look. It's
Yeah.
way deeper. And So anytime you think for those of you listening, anytime you think that how you look shouldn't matter and it's superficial, it's not. I'm here to tell
No.
you there's a world available that you have no idea that I recommend that you tap into. So
I agree.
thank
And
you.
it's self-love, right? It's like, it's not
Yes.
about like, oh, I have to put on the eyelashes and feel good. It was energy to that. My angels, whenever my angels are pushing something out of me, it's like energy I throw.
Yeah.
I can't stress enough because I used to be stuck in that of like the like I
Yeah.
have to look this way because it was for everyone else. It's about doing it for you and feeling good for
Exactly.
you and loving on you. And when you do love yourself so much, you recognize like, oh, I am beautiful with or without makeup. I am beautiful whether I'm in the most
Yeah.
fancy outfit or I'm in a cozy sweatsuit. But as long as I feel good in what I'm
Yeah.
wearing and I'm showing up that way, then yes,
Yeah.
it is a game changer. And I so agree with
Yeah.
you. And I love all the work you're doing. Look, your light keeps
I
going.
know. My light turned back on.
Happens to me and with my energy with so many people and clients, and everybody notices and they're like, Ali, and I'm like, it's just me. I've been told many times like I'm that spark. And so I'm like, it's
Me
the
too.
connection, like it's the divine connection. I love it.
Totally. Totally. It's like my angels telling me, we're
Yep,
here. We're
yep,
here.
yep.
We're here. I love
That's
it.
right.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh.
it.
Okay, Ali, tell the listeners how they can find you, what you're up to so that they can follow you and do your programs and whatever. So talk to us.
Thank you. Yes, this was so much fun. I'm like lit up. Such an incredible conversation. So excited for this soul connection. So my website's alilevine.com. You can follow me at Ali Levine Design on all platforms. I also have Awakening with Ali is my podcast. And I also have the handle on Instagram at Awakening with Ali, where I do share a more deeper spiritual wellness journey there. And I kind of incorporate the intuitive styling, kind of all the things spirituality of me. And all my offers are in my link in bio. I have a breathwork challenge I continuously run each month where you guys come and breathe with me and in a more integrated and embodied way and get that kind of support in a container. I have my app, Breathe and Be, where you can subscribe and get me in your pocket and breathe with me and use my meditations and affirmations. Membership. I have all different ways depending on how you work with me one-on-one. And then, of course, intuitive styling. If you are really wanting to kind of marry breath work and styling and bring it all in and get deep, then I have that as well. But I would just say book a call with me, have a conversation, see how I can
Mm,
support you and connect with you, and I'd love to help you.
you're amazing. I just want to give you
Thank
a big,
you. I
giant
know, same.
virtual hug.
Same.
You're amazing. Oh, I'm
So
so
are
glad we
you.
connected.
Me
So reach out to
too.
Ali if there's any connection that you feel called to, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.
Yes, me
Have
too. And
a
I can't wait for
blessed
you to come
day.
to my breath work. I'm going to send you the info for that. I'm going to gift you to
Great.
come. And anyone listening, if I have full moon breathwork circle every month, so please come and join. It's a great way to get into my world and into my energy and get to experience this work.
I love it. Well, thanks for all that you do to change the
You're
world, Ali.
welcome. Thank you. You
Okay.
too. Thanks,
Thank
Keri.
you.
Bye,
See you.
everyone.